What's poppin' today, you guys? Corn here. And today, I'm gonna read a creepypasta titled The Perfect Video Game. Excuse me for my allergies. I'm gonna yak and cough probably in the middle of this, and excuse my stuttering, like always. I need to get my eyes checked. Well, anyway, let's begin on this creepypasta. I gotta see if it's still... Okay, my mic's still running. I heard rumors about a video game console released in the early 90s that promised the most immersive games imaginable. It bore a strong resemblance to a Super Nintendo, except it had no cartridge slot, no reset button, and only one controller port. It was released in an extremely low quality. It's possible that less than 50 were ever available. People I talked to who I remember it from their childhood only mentioned the first game on the list. Other games were included on the console, but it was, they say, the perfect game. Lifelike graphics and sound, even by today's standard, and an endless supply of new fun content, solid gameplay. The controls were responsive to the point of precognition, like recall. Precognition, I don't know, they call. And the single controller port was all that was necessary. The NPCs in the game were smart enough just to be as entertaining as real players. It was quite literally a game nobody wanted to stop playing, and people interviewed all remarked somewhat bitterly that their parents forcibly dragged them away from the television set after a few days of continuous playing and threw the console in the trash. I was interrupted by what I knew so far, so I went looking for more people who remember this relic of gaming history. I searched high and low for anybody besides a handful of people I had already talked to, and after a month of painstaking investigation, I found two independent accounts. They had a much harder time remembering the specifics of the console, but I was able to jog their memory by repeating what I had in my notes. I could see their eyes light up a little, remembering the perfect game. But both of them said that's not all of it. The game could do. Both of them said the interface was complete. Oh, could do. Okay. Both of them. Okay. And I inquired what exactly they meant after a few days, apparently. The game started having a positive psychological effect. It was as if the actions were done in-game were giving the player exercise, quote-unquote, and the player was able to go without food or water, seemingly drawing sustenance through items collected in the levels. However, after a couple of days, they had this game continuously They had played this game continuously for a week by this point. They started feeling the damage done to their in-game player character. The pain was small at first, and only a slightly forceful reminder to be more attentive. After a short while, though, the pain started getting intense, and the awareness of the constant action was taking its toll on them. The game was still perfect. It was better than any high you can imagine, one of them said. But it was becoming psychologically exhausting to play, and they couldn't hear themselves away from it. I was almost done with the level, and I was fighting a boss that used a whip. The other interviewee said, "I remember the whip was a one-hit kill. I started the level over, but I remember the searing pain where it lashed across my arm." He had unbuttoned his sleeve on his shirt, and I could see a scar twisting around his arm. Yeah, it was getting that bad, both of them said to their parents. Returned to the house in 9 days. The marathon game session and forcibly dragged them away from the console and took them to an emergency room. The console was gone when they got back home. Thrown away like all the others, I bet. I could not find any other people who even knew what I was talking about. The rumors had stopped there, and I was left with an incomplete knowledge about where I could find one of these consoles. A sense of dread settled in the back of my mind, though, and I felt it was necessary to pore through newspaper archives from that period. I was trying all sorts of variations on bootleg console, quote unquote, in an online database search. And what I finally stumbled upon was shocking. There was 15 separate incidents of people found dead in their homes, sitting in front of their TVs with a bootleg-looking console hooked up to it. They looked butchered appearance. They had a butchered appearance, most commonly with some found in pieces of autopsy, and autopsies revealed that the internal organs had dissolved. One article remarked the TV was displaying static, and they could not get the console to power on. Local officials tried contacting the manufacturer of the console, but the owner's manual and the information on the sticker on the back of the console both referred to an address that led to the site of a warehouse demolished over 80 years ago.